Thursday afternoon, everybody. It's the Dragon Lady coming to you live. And interestingly enough, I didn't come on at 2. I was looking around because I recently moved, and maybe you guys can relate to this. Everything's in boxes. I thought I could find everything. I thought I'd be able to locate stuff. I came across my list yesterday in something, and I can't find it now, that had my list of people waiting for live mini dragon readings, because I wanted to do 1 or 2 today, and I apologize, I just couldn't find it, but that's why I'm late. And interestingly, with that and then figuring out some other things, it's 2:22, which is so magical to begin. So hello. And one of the other things that came up when I was getting to start this, you guys probably noticed the last 2 weeks I've gone back to vertical videos. One of them I was even sideways. How crazy is that? Because my phone and my iPad were both not letting me rotate. I don't know why. And so I had the impulse to type in the question in Google. You gotta love searches and questions because they're so random. And it said, these are the things that can happen while your thing is not rotating. I didn't even know there was a non-rotate button. Like you can lock rotating on and off. I've now learned a new function of my iPad and my iPhone, so I'm back to my normal videos. I'm very excited about that because I like the horizontal format. So anyway, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Araya Anra. If you don't know me, I'm also known as the Dragon Lady here in For the Love of Dragons. I like to come on every week because this is my group and answer your questions, help you get on your journey to know the dragons, work with them, be initiated into them, remember them, connect with them, whatever you need to do in the dragon realms to sense, feel, or know they are around you. And so we have lots of space here in the group to share your experiences. You are not alone. The great thing about this group is you can share anything, know that you're not going to be called crazy, you're not going to be kicked out, and it's going to actually help trigger a lot of people and answer your questions. So send me your questions. Hi, Melinda. You know what? I think, Melinda, I thought you were on my list, or that I did a reading for you. I will put you on my list because I've decided to wait until I find the other one. And I will double check because I thought I did one for you and you might have missed it, so I'd have to look up the date that I did it. So where was I with that? I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, what I do is I come on to bring answers. And so if you have questions, please put them in the comments. The dragon message today, yes, we're gonna have that. Email them to me. Post them in the comments, post them in the group. I see every post that goes through because I have to approve posts in the group. So if you have a question, put it out there because that's how I get the subjects for every week. Otherwise, I just talk about what I want to talk about, and that's always fun too. But this week, we have a great topic that one of my Dragon Hearts brought up. He's been having these experiences out in the canyons. He lives here in Reno as well. And he's been out in some of the canyons, and there's twofold thing that I want to talk about today. One is dragon language. Bonjour, Arnaud, hello in France. And let's see, Tanya's got a question. What is the relation between the dragons and draconian entities? I'm going to write that down for next week. There, Tanya, draconian entities. And I'll have to, you might need to specify more what you mean by draconian entities. Anyway, so in the canyons, he's going up there and he knew that there was one. He went up and experienced one, and then he went back and he found a pair. And then he went back again and he found 2 more, which made a group of 4. And then he found another group of 4 as he kept going up the canyon and kept having this experience where he had this impulse to just reach out and speak to them, and found this incredible language coming out of him that he didn't really know what to do with. We talked about it before, but it was really about that impulse of, let's talk about that. What is that impulse? Where does that language come from? What is that within us that is this, it's almost like a knowing, and you can't stop it once the flow is there and you get to a certain point on your journey. Hi, Hannah, good to see you. So a couple things there I want to talk about. One is when you start finding dragons in your area and you start activating or awakening them, you might start finding more. Because on one level, you're activating that energy field, which in turn touches other things around, which not only brings them up a notch enough to maybe be perceived, makes them a little more like if you imagine if they're sleeping, they're in a very deep comatose state or a deep hibernation, sort of like frogs do, right, in the mud in the winter. So if they're coming up out of it and they come up to a certain level of vibration where you might be able to perceive them more closely, you'll all of a sudden start seeing more. But they might already be awake and just not showing themselves to you because they want to be hidden except to people that are going to receive them and receive their gifts. Because they were hunted for a long time, they were persecuted, they actually went into hiding because of humanity. So if you reveal to one who's maybe the daring one or the most visible, and you open your heart and your heart song to that one, wouldn't it make sense that then word would spread that we have a human here, we have a dragon heart here that is willing to embrace us. Let's show him our entire tribe. Let's reveal everyone down this canyon. So that kind of thing can happen. Hello, Genevieve. And then the language part is really what I want to focus on today. Because one of the parts of your journey, and we talked a little bit about this in book club yesterday, is opening to deeper vibrations of frequencies within you, clearing out things that are holding you back, that are resistances either to things from other realms that you've wanted to forget, or just that they've been so pushed to the side that you need to access them again. And as you start breaking free some of the barriers to those within you, using the dragon frequencies as you work with them, that will start to unlock all these places where these gifts within you that are part of you that you know will start to wake up again. One of those is dragon language. You can call it light language, you can call it dragon language, you can call it code. Whatever you want to use as a term doesn't matter, but there's I don't even know how many dialects of it, but you will know that it's coming straight from the heart, and it's a string of syllables, much like their names. Excuse me, when you get their names, their mantras, it quite often sounds like something sort of familiar that means something to you, but you're not quite sure why. It's got a sing-song melody. It's very similar to Hawaiian in the sense that it's, or Japanese, that it's got almost syllabic strings rather than letter strings like we have in English. Hi, Joanna. And so I'll just give you an example. And you see me quite often move into my dragon when I'm speaking to you, and I'll just allow that to come through so that I can start speaking to you, and you'll hear it in your heart. How do you hear in your heart? Well, you'll feel it resonate straight through the heart space, and you might not with your brain understand what I'm saying. And here Tanya's saying, funny you come with this topic because this question is around my Headley's last days. There's always a synchronicity, and one person's question is always another person's question, which is why I do them on lives rather than single responses, because it benefits everybody and more than one person is asking the same thing. So for you, the sound and writing's getting strong lately. Absolutely, because you're opening more to them. And it is both sound, it can be writing as well. It can be also painting. A lot of people start to have code come through them. That is like the light code language that you're seeing a lot of people do, light scribing. So as it comes through your ears, you might not perceive or understand exactly what it's saying. You won't be able to translate it word for word. But on some level, you'll know exactly what the heart is expressing. And it might just by, maybe the reason that this is coming up today for me to do is because some of you will hear it and it's going to wake up some ancient piece of you that sort of tingles or shivers and says, oh, sort of like that little frog in the mud that comes spring, warm weather. There's a tingling that starts to say, oh, it's time to wake up. It's time to come up to a little bit higher heartbeat. It's time to really wake up and be your full self. So let's see what that feels like. Ishwarne aitanna ikurne mahatorka. Ishwaraya namaika urchecheno. Hanchandai gando akurne hamantan. Adrea akarta. Urme ainta. Ajire ainga o shamme. So that particular dialect isn't always the one that comes through. It's interesting that that was there. So several of you on this call must be associated with that. I'm going to see if there's another one that wants to come. Quite often they are in song. I'm going to allow that because that's what's coming next. Ushurni maya turi akorinai. Ashurni maya turniam. Aguri aitaminai dur. Ashariam. Now that one is very similar to something that might come through when you're actually activating a dragon, because when you connect heart to heart, you can feel their heart song, and it is their heart song coming from a human being actually singing it and connecting to it that wakes them up, that activates and wakens them, and then you will feel them come back into like presence in this third dimensional realm. You won't see a 3D body, but you'll feel their energy body and their presence much more here, tangibly, physically, in that energetic way when you do that. And so you can feel a difference. And if you tune into what I just did, and you might need to re-listen to it, that's a great thing about playback. And for all of those of you who are on the playback, you can play back again. But allow yourself to close your eyes and just listen to those strings and see what awakens in your body. What message do you feel was coming through for you? Because on some level you understood it. So part of light language is also not allowing yourself to be too frightened to let it out, too inhibited. A lot of times you're asked to do it only out in nature with the dragons, but you might be in a situation where by just letting, if it's in a meditation group or something, and these sounds want to come out of you, there's something about the group sphere and that urge, that impulse to really let it out that is going to benefit not only you, but someone else that's present. So try to lose and let go of the inhibition. Part of that is getting your power back, to be truly you, to be really, and maybe that's what it ends up being about, is you being allowed to be you. And if that is your impulse, your heart is saying, just express this, and you keep pushing it down, you're pushing down and repressing your own empowerment, your own truest expression. So can you come up and let that out? Because a heart song is never damaging. It's going to be a blessing and a gift for everyone there, even if they don't understand it, even if they look at you cross-eyed and go, what are you doing? What is that? And there is a lot of judgment around light sound language like that. There's this old thing in the Bibles of talking in tongues, or it's something to do with satanic talking and all kinds of stuff like that. I was raised in the church. I know that it was back there, but I tell you what, when you feel the resonance of it, everything that you touch in this life, and yes, tears of recognition. I'm so glad, Tanya. Should you ask your dragons to teach me more about it? Because that's my desire. Absolutely. If your desire is to ask them, do it. Your dragons will definitely teach you more about it and why this is coming up for you this week. So with that old aspect of sort of religious shutdown, it's that same thing. It's a judgment, it's a fear, it's resistance to self-empowerment and a way to control beings by making them feel inhibited, by taking away their power. And when you feel the power of the love behind that language, that message, you can just feel it emanate through your heart. And like Tanya just experienced, tears of recognition of, whoa, that hit me home. Hi Lee, good to see you. You'll have to catch the first few minutes on playback. But I encourage you, allow it. I know that one of my current Dragon Hearts, the first time that we were she was in a book club, and we had a session and we're talking about light language, and I encouraged her. I said, why aren't you letting this out? Why don't you speak this? And in the next book club, she allowed these strings of sounds to come out of her, and she was really sort of nervous about it because there was a group of 10 watching, right? And it broke something free in her that was so empowering, and to watch the shift in her visually on screen was amazing. So I encourage you with it. I'm so glad that it was actually one of my other Dragon Hearts that asked about this, Ingor. I'm grateful for the question because it's such a wonderful subject and such that wonderful homecoming for people. And I feel like, for some reason, I feel like there's one more string of sounds that wants to come through. It's a different dialect for someone else that's going to be really triggered. So I'm going to allow this to come. Ushurni mai aturnya hacharta urorea kaina mar ashwanandanda agurina mai atu ashurmi aina akuria aindata ushur mai hatan. That was a wake-up call for somebody. Oh, so beautiful. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Let's see, we're going to have information come out in the next 2 weeks about transmissions during my time over in Asia. So I'm going to keep that open, that if you guys want the transmissions from that journey of all the activations from the top to the bottom of Tibet and around Kailash, the only time to get them is going to be when I announce it, or now you can get on the list now, and then when I announce it, you'll be sent an email directly to have all the information about how to pay for it, receive it, everything else, because once I leave on August 31st, I won't be in contact. I won't be reachable for 3 weeks, and it's going to be, in fact, I don't know if I'll be able to do lives at all during that time. I'm going to miss you guys. And you'll need to definitely be registered and paid beforehand. No more last minute stuff like the last time. So let's see. Genevieve's asking a question before I leave. She's saying, is it possible to activate dragons at a distance or increase the contact once we visit the site and attempt? Why is it not letting me see more? Come on. Sorry, I don't like tapping the screen when I'm on here, but Genevieve, it's not letting me see there it is. The site and attempt to first contact. Yes, so one of the things, Genevieve, I'll put you on the list, and Lee, I think Lee, you might already be on the list, but I'll double check it. So Genevieve, great question, and I'll go ahead and answer that now. When you first attempt contact at a site, when you've been somewhere physically, and this is true about any energy work, when you have been somewhere physically on the planet, even if it was when you were asleep or unconscious and not on your journey, because you've been there physically in this body in this lifetime, you can reconnect to it very easily by pulling yourself in meditation out of the time-space continuum and reinserting yourself in that place and visualizing the entire site around you. So you can go back to any point on the planet and actually do more energy work there now. So if there's a dragon there, you can actually go and reconnect from a distance. You know, energy it's actually right here. So it's hard to explain this, but like my remote work, I do all of my sessions remotely with people all over the world. We usually connect by telephone or like this through a video chat, but we don't have to be screen to screen. I can actually just connect to you energetically and be working as if we're in the same room, as if you're on my massage table or in my coaching chair. And because of the fact of energy and how you connect and expand your energy body through it, it's just like teleportation where you are literally right there. So if you can go to any site that you've been to and be right there, then you can connect to that dragon and continue to do work there at any point, Genevieve. So that's a great question. So I would say that in that way you can activate dragons at a distance. If you have not been there physically, you can't, unless it's a distance that you can see them physically. So say you're across a valley and you can't hike around that lake, but you can see a dragon in the rocks at the other side, absolutely you can connect from that level of distance. If you can visually see them and get close enough to see, then absolutely you can. Otherwise, like if it's a dragon that you know, say, is in another country, but you haven't been there, I don't think in my experience that you can do that. So hopefully that answers your question, Genevieve. Good to see you, and I will add you to the list. And yeah, simple like that. It really is. There's so much more. In fact, we overcomplicate everything in our spiritual journey and our energy work, and so much more of it is so much more simple than we think as far as actually doing. But what I am seeing and learning is that the further I go and the higher my frequency is, so that more information can come in, I find that the level of information that's starting to come in is much harder for my brain to process, because it doesn't work necessarily. It's like so new to this realm to try and translate it that it's hard. But otherwise, most stuff is actually quite simple. And it's our brain that overcomplicates things. Good afternoon, Suzanne. Nice to see you up in Canada. You're going to have to catch the replay because I'm just about done. But watch for that in the next 2 weeks. Probably close to the middle of August. I'll have that transmissions information out. And I'll try and post information too about the next book club schedule. That'll be October, November, something like that when I return from Asia, so that you guys can start thinking about joining that, because we are having an amazing time so far. We're 2 weeks in. Everybody's having shifts and transformations and aha moments, and we've got another month to go, which is super fun. So I always love coming on. It's really good to see you guys. If I can be of service, if you need a 20-minute discovery call, I love doing those. If you need a 20-minute dragon reading, if you need a full session, if you need information about a program, I'm also starting to take applications for the next Eye of the Dragon program, which is the first half of the Way of the Dragon Heart. And that's going to be starting January 2020. So I am starting to look at that group and assemble that and pull it together. So if you're feeling that heart pull to be part of that, then also message me and let me know that you're interested, so that I can get you the information you need to fill out an application. All right, have a great afternoon, you guys. We'll see you next week. I love you guys. I love my dragon family. I so appreciate being able to be here and share with you guys, and throw me your questions. I'm going to get to yours, Tanya, next week on dragons versus draconian entities. But I would love for you to message me directly about what exactly you mean, what it means for you, draconian entities specifically. Thanks for this activation. You are welcome. I will register you, and I will get you the information once it's ready for payment and all that. And because I haven't even set it yet, I'm not sure exactly how many transmissions there will be. But before I leave, I will have to send out exactly the order of them, what days and times to receive them, where they're going to be coming from, and all that good stuff. So that will be forthcoming, but I do have the list growing. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.